I'm thinking it's time to go cut myself a hole for my stove in the stove jack and turn this cold tent into a hot tent. What's going on? It's Samantha from Lone Crow Adventures, the channel where we talk about all things camping, hiking, and backpacking. Today, I'm going to show you how to cut a perfectly round, perfectly sized flue pipe opening in your brand new stove jack. Let's go. So to do this in the field, the only thing you need is a piece of your stove pipe, your stove jack, a flat piece of wood, and a knife or a pair of scissors. Now, if you're using one of those hot tending stoves that has the rollable pipe and you haven't rolled it up yet, don't worry about it. Just grab this bark arrestor. That'll do just fine for what we're about to do here. I'm going to use the very center of the stove jack. This is a little baby tiny stove jack, but depending on the size of the stove jack you're using, you may actually want to test the stove placement in your tent before making the cut, just to make sure that you have that stove in the right position that you want, not too close to the wall, not too close to the center of the tent. So be aware of that. So you grab your stove jack, and I like to set it down in the snow where it's still a little fluffy. Take your used piece of pipe, find the very center, and just kind of go back and forth. You're going to do this about 10 or 12 times. And when you take this piece of pipe off, look at that. Bingo, you have it marked. And now you've got the exact position and the exact size of flue jack hole that you want for your stove. But the trick to having a really nicely cut flue pipe hole is to not try to cut a circle. I'll show you that next. You're going to take your stove jack and you're going to stick it right on top of that flat piece of wood. Go ahead and find the center. Now that you've got the center, go ahead and gently draw across. Now that you've got your cross drawn, you've got a perfect opening inside of the stove jack. And you can test it out by using your piece of pipe and just popping it through the center there. And you notice that you've got a really nice tight fit around that cross. Now that we checked to make sure our pipe would fit through our cross, you could go ahead and cut out the remaining 4 sections. So go ahead, lay it down on top of the wood, and then you're just going to cut slowly and carefully in these arching little cuts. You get little pieces of it cut off like this. After you get the first section cut, move on to the next section. Be careful of those fingers. Take your time. There's no need to rush. Then you get another little quarter section like this. Every time that you cut a quarter, rotate this to your cutting position of preference. So I'm strongest cutting clockwise from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So I'm not going to, cut upwards or cut on the side, because I'm trying to cut basically a perfect circle. So I want to use this motion here, which is my personal position of most stability with this knife. So just keep rotating it over to your position of strength. There's the last piece. It's a perfect circle. Now the only thing left to do is to pop it into the stove jack opening and test the flue pipe to make sure it fits. Pretty much a perfect fit. Perfect every time. And if you guys want to know what I think is the best budget titanium hot tent stove, click right over here and I'll see you on that video.